All right, everybody, welcome to the call today on database, or actually GeoFarm and Circle Prospecting Mastery. We're going to be covering a few different kind of things today just because we got a new marketing pack that just dropped and we actually got another one coming. So you may know that the CoreLogic case Shiller report dropped yesterday, and we've got an entire marketing pack for you. And the pending home sales just dropped today, and we've got a marketing pack coming out for that one as well. And so I'm going to show you how to use that marketing pack today, pointing in the right direction on that as we talk about GeoFarm and Circle Prospecting Mastery. And with that, just because this comment right here, I think deals with that. So let's listen to Dustin real quick, 48 seconds.
Getting about 2.2 additional transactions per listing. Right now, it's listings to lead is what we're recommending all of our team members to use, and they're like high adopters. There's an easy button to run Facebook ads. There's an easy button to run Google ads. There's a checklist in terms of print marketing, like a nearby homeowner letter that can go out and invite people to our catered and food truck open houses. And it's just to stick to the checklist that they have in terms of building business. And this is honestly how we have scaled to getting about 2.2 additional transactions per listing. So I would say that's the one tool that we would not be able to live without. And I recommend that to people.
So Dustin there, a client of ours for about 10 years now, author of 6 Weeks to Real Estate Success. He mentioned a tool, the nearby homeowner letter, and how he uses that to invite people around the open house to a catered open house. Now, he didn't start out doing catered open houses. We're going to talk through that, but we're going to go through how to, in your farm, start doing open houses that literally generate listings and buyers. So we're not doing an open house where we're just going to generate some leads. We've got the training, but 2 separate trainings on how to do open houses. One is the open house marketing, which is very similar to marketing a listing that is just listed or coming soon. But then we got the second training for the open houses that is called Open House Mastery that we're going to walk through today. And that is where we start getting the listings. So that's where we start setting up the open house to start engaging the homes around it. And it's yours or borrowed. So even if you don't have a listing, this strategy is one that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to get a farm where you can have open houses, mid-market type of farm area, and then start doing open houses. Even this time of year, this strategy will completely work. So hold on to that thought here. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. First, I just want to mention you're going to be getting an email shortly, probably while you're on this call, about the new marketing pack for the CoreLogic case Shiller report that just dropped yesterday. You're going to see in your account, the email blast is right there. In this post, we have got here all the different tools for you to actually download and use on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We can take that email, create a social media post, and in this training, I'll walk through all of that. So in this post right here, and I'm going to drop this into the GoToWebinar. In fact, I'm not going to drop this into the GoToWebinar panel because you're going to get an email. In fact, I'll let you know because I will probably see the email come through while we're on the call today. But if I just click on each one, if I click on these about 15 seconds. So this is the training video where I walk you through how to do all the marketing. This is a file that you can right click on and save. And this is actually for TikTok. This is going to be a TikTok video that you can use. And you're going to see, and in the training video, I'll walk you through this. There's the graph right there in the first 4 seconds. And then after the 4th second, it disappears. And I actually show you how to create an interactive poll on TikTok and Instagram. Next here, you got an Instagram swipe file for stories. And again, you got one story file with the graphs. In the second one, that's blank because again, on Instagram stories, you can actually do a poll as well. In the training, I show you how to do a poll there. Also, a few other graphics if you want to use it for something or other. You got these here as well. Here's the email. So that is in your listings to leads account. I'll point you in the right direction for that. But get this to your audience. I would highly recommend that after this call, you go into the mastermind, click the link in your email, go to the mastermind group, go through that and get that out ASAP, because this is a great way to engage some of the people in your database, engage people on social media. We also walk through doing a short form video. So literally doing a video using our graphic video as well, doing the social media posts on all your socials. So I show you how to get that on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and Google. So watch that training and get that out the door, because tomorrow you can do the same for the home pending report. And that is 2 great pieces of content related to current events that's going to allow you to have further engagement with your database and your social media. Everybody cool on that? Everybody get that? So after this call, check your email. And if you're watching this later, it won't really matter, because this is time sensitive information. So if you don't get to this in the next few days, you're going to miss the opportunity. So everybody type in, got it. Let me know that you got that idea. And this is the training video. So this is on our YouTube channel. So the email that you get will link to that pack, and then also to this video here as well. And then here's the pending home sales report that just came out this morning, right? Home sales, 7.4%, which is good, right? But it depends on the region. So again, we're going to have a marketing pack. So we're going to have a social media post, an email that you can send to your database. We're going to have the TikTok and Instagram files. We're going to have a lot of great stuff for you. Awesome. Good to see everybody getting there. I got it. Awesome. When you log into your Listings to Leads account, just so I can point you in the right direction, if you scroll down below active listings and below pending, that's the second widget on your dashboard. It's right here, database and email blast. And so this is the CoreLogic Shiller email. Home price remain steady, but are cooling off. In fact, I just got the email. Here we go. I'll show you the email so you'll know what to look for after this call. So I just got the email. Oh, I lost the email. There we go. So here's the email that Listings to Leads just sent out to everybody. So after this call, click on the graphic that'll take you here. And then let me see. In fact, let me tell my assistant real quickly to put this link in the description. So that way, give me 1 second, everybody, because you're going to want to do this. And I want to make sure you all got it right after this call. So let me have my assistant here. Give me 1 second. Let me just tell her in my other screen. This is real world stuff, people. So this is how you run a company sometimes. Even when you're doing a training, we've got to set it up so that you've got access to this. Let me just tell her. Put that link, please, into the YouTube. So after this call, check out the email, watch the video on YouTube, look in the description for the link to the mastermind group. Or as I say in the video, I tell you in the video, just go to the mastermind group and search for CoreLogic Marketing Pack. And here's the search bar right here. So if you're watching this later, and if we're going to be coming out with marketing packs, like 1 every week or 2, I'm trying to get it to 1 a week. This time we're doing 2 this week, but I'm trying to get it where we come out these marketing packs every week so that you've got current information that you can use to engage your audience. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be an awesome addition to the tool sets that we give you to continually generate, engage, and convert leads in your area. So take a look at that after this call. But again, on the dashboard, when you scroll down to database email blast, here's the email. So all the swipe files are in the mastermind group. The email is right here. And again, in that training video, I walk you through how to send out the email, how to even send it out from your CRM. So if you got a different CRM, get that email out the door and then go to the mastermind group, grab those files, get them up to TikTok, get them up to Instagram, get them up to YouTube, Facebook, go through all of that stuff and knock it out of the park. I can't wait to hear your feedback on it. And then again, tomorrow we got another one on home pending that you're going to be able to rock and roll right through that one again. So let's get into GeoFarm Circle Prospecting Mastery. And So we saw the video from Dustin, right? The author of 6 Weeks to Agent Success. Great book. I highly recommend it. So open houses, I really want you to be doing an open house every single week. If you're on this call and your business is not where you want it at, if you're not closing, if you're not getting a transaction a week, then you need to be doing open houses every week. That's how I would say to do it. Once you start getting a transaction every week and you've got more activity going on, you don't have to do an open house every single week, but I still would. I think a lot of the problems real estate agents have is once they start getting a little bit of success, they stop doing what got them the success. And I know this because I talk to agents all the time that suffer that issue. So I would try to make sure I am doing an open house just every other week minimum, but every week typically. One of my favorite things when I was in retail was working the weekends, but then having a Monday off. Right now in real estate, you're never going to get a Monday off. When you work on the weekends, right, just manage your schedule so that you got other time to take off and go do things as you want. But doing an open house every weekend is so powerful. Yours are borrowed. Again, think about doing it, making sure you do this in an area where you can get more listings. It's easy to get to, right? We don't want to be doing it in an area that's way far out there or it's too luxury. If it's too high of a price point, a lot of times those homes take a longer time to sell. And you don't want to be sitting there with a listing that's going to be sitting there for 2 to 3x the normal properties in your area. So we always want to be more of a mid-market type of farm area. I want to make sure that the turnover is going to be pretty good. I don't want to be sitting there with listings for 6 to 9 months like it can happen in the luxury market. And what we're going to do here, if you don't have an open house listing, you can actually do this with a pending or sold. So if you've got a pending listing or sold listing, you can use the nearby homeowner letter. If you don't have a pending or sold, find an open house, yours or borrowed to do. And when you got that in your account, and here I got an open house, and if I click on market listing, there is a nearby homeowner letter right here. And this letter is responsible for so many listings, buyers. This letter is just absolutely amazing. Don't edit it. Oh my gosh. When I talk to people, the people that do the worst are the people that edit it the most, especially in the beginning. All right. When you're first starting out with this, just leave it as default. So I'm going to click on this. We're going to download it, take a look at it. And again, this is something you can do with your listing or a borrowed listing. If you're doing a pending or sold, it would be the same idea, except that the status of the listing is not pending or sold. So just take all the language I'm going to talk about today when I refer to open house and just reference it to pending or sold. It's the same thing for the most part. For the open house here, this letter we can print and we can mail it out. We can door knock, we can door drop. There's a lot of opportunity here on how you're going to get this to the neighbors of that listing or the open house that you've got. Then the letter in the default is just letting the neighbors know that there's an open house this weekend. So the first goal of our marketing here is 2-part marketing, right? We're trying to get people to the neighbors, right? We're trying to get neighbors to the open house, or at a minimum, engage them relating to the open house. So even if they don't get to the open house, we're still going to try to engage them. So get an open house or a pending or sold listing if it's yours. So you got the open house set up. If you're going to borrow an open house, by the way, and you'll see this in Open House Mastery, make sure the listing agent drops it into the MLS, and then the update Zillow, so that you make sure that the whole market should know about it. But in your marketing that you're going to be doing, get this letter to 100 homes around that open house. And again, whether you print, trifold, and mail, we got all the training on this. You can go to the mastermind group and type in nearby homeowner letter. You can click the support post for it and find out how to use it if you need more help on it. But it's pretty basic. You're just going to print it, and you're either going to door knock, door drop, or mail. Now, I know there are people out there that say door knocking and door dropping and all this kind of stuff is stupid and it's ineffectual. but people get listings from it. If you're going to drop it in the mail, the best way to mail this out is in an 8.5 by, or just a regular envelope, like a regular business envelope. Dustin uses a company called Zaire Mail, Z-A-I-R, I believe it is, mail, to mail them. There's also Mailbox Power. We've also got a integration with Express Copy. So you can literally send them out from Express Copy. So you got a lot of mailing opportunities between those three companies and doing it yourself. But get this to those homeowners. If you've got their phone number, I would also call them, right? So nearby homeowner letter, you're going to see here postcards, door hangers, and then we got the circle prospecting script. So if you mail or door knock, get the letters to those neighbors. Again, if you got the numbers, I would call them. Great script right here to be calling through. In addition, you're going to do all the other marketing for that open house or the pending and sold listing, right? So you're going to do all of that stuff as normal. Now, for the open house, if you go through all this marketing, you should get probably anywhere from 20 to 100 leads. 20 to 100 leads by doing this for yours or a listing that you borrow for the open house. This is the best way to start growing your business fast, right? Do that open house, do the open house marketing. And then if you go to the marketing calendar, in fact, you could have accessed this. Actually, I'll do it. Let me go back to the open house listing, just so you can see a more direct way of getting here. Let me go back to my open house. Here's my open house. If I click on market listing, and again, right here's the nearby homeowner letter. Here are the postcards and door hangers. Here's that script. But right here at the top, it says open house mastery. If you click that, this is where you go to get the tools on how to convert people at the open house. You're going to see here, there is a checklist, there is a guide, and then there is the playbook. So let me click here for the checklist. And so here's the open house mastery checklist. I'll come back to that in a minute. This is the guide. So we got a PDF guide here that walks you through this. It's amazing. And then if I click here, let's open house marketing. Okay. And then let's go back to the marketing calendar. So presentations, open house mastery right there. So this presentation, you've got to go through this. You need to be, I would recommend become a pro at this presentation, because in this presentation, in fact, I can download it. So you can do this as well. If it's easier for you, you can actually open it up. I'm gonna let that open up. And then I'm gonna walk through this presentation for you, because this right here is something every single one of you can do. Now, again, if you got the pending or sold listing, you can get that nearby homeowner letter out to 100 homes on that listing. If you got the phone numbers of those people, call through those people as well. That is a phenomenal way to get listings. But the open house mastery is even better, because you got so many opportunities to engage with the neighbors around that open house if you go through this training. So let's just go through this. I'm not going to take an hour to do this, and I'm going to go through it briefly. But if you have any questions on any of this in here, stop me so that I can explain it to you. But you got access to this. It's in the marketing calendar, presentations tab. Works for your listing or borrowed, something you can do every single week. All right. Generate, like I said, between 20 to 100 leads, 24 to 140. The idea here of the open house is to create an unforgettable experience. This is based on a lot of conversations with our clients. Dustin Fox was one of them. We have other clients that were doing this as well. So you are getting essentially 10 years of pro tips in one presentation right here. This will take your business and absolutely take you to another level. So just the idea of doing open houses, right? 100 open houses in 100 days. There are people that hold open houses during the week. So there's really, and these are like $100 million producers that will do multiple open houses a week. So there's really no reason or I don't want to say excuse because we all have our issues, but there's no reason why you can't do an open house every single week. And if you follow this pattern or this methodology, this training here, you're going to start converting. You're going to start, your farm area is going to start becoming your golden pot. So if you follow this training, but here's Jared James. I love this next quote right here from Jared, where he says, visibility trumps ability, but more importantly in this market, visibility is your responsibility. And with all the free ways, right? Some of these things are paid. So printing the nearby homeowner letter, running the ad, those are, I think, really the only paid things you do on the front end. There's a couple of dollars you're going to spend here on the back end that you can work your way into, but get onto this. I can't even stress enough how powerful this is to exploding, growing your business. Picking an open house, I referenced this just a little bit earlier, but make sure it's in an area where you want to generate buyers and sellers, right? Average price point, don't go too high, don't go too low. And make sure it's in an area that's easy to get to. We don't want to be doing this in an area that is impossible to get to. If you have to borrow a listing, I've had clients literally become top producers in under a year from being a brand new agent by starting with borrowing listings. When you do not have a listing to market, you need to borrow listings every single week to market and or hold open. There's really just no other way around it. If you expect to be in this business for much longer, you need to start doing this. Another thing it's going to do is it is going to make you a marketing and listing agent pro faster than people who've been in this business for 5 years and are just like wandering around aimlessly, right? Sitting in the office, bothering everybody. We don't want to be that agent. We want to be the agent that's actually doing things and actually getting business. So if you don't have a listing, borrow a listing, talk to your broker. They're going to love you. They love agents that are proactive. Don't be that agent again that's just walking around complaining, talking to the assistant in the office. Nobody wants that agent. And again, make sure if you're going to borrow a listing to hold open, ask the listing agent to get that into the MLS. Right? Remember I mentioned there's 2 parts to this. Part 1 is let's get people in the door. And so that is just the standard open house marketing like we do with every other listing in the system. So we got the open house overview that you'll find in your account. And then we just got all the tools. So we're going to use all these tools, and we cover this in social media mastery, database mastery, and then we've talked about it today with the nearby homeowner letter. So all these tools are going to get great leads for you. They're going to help get people to the open house. So all of these tools, including the open house sign-in form, are going to help you generate a lot of great leads. Now, if the listing is your listing, you need to be doing open house neighborhood exclusives. I would just say this is something that I would just make it a priority. Now, if you got one listing, you can't do it every single week, but you could probably do at least one neighborhood exclusive so that you get to meet the neighbors. So watch this presentation part here, because this is where it gets really good. So 1 to 3 days before the public, I believe what Dustin used to do was he would do a 3-day open house. If you read his book, he talks about 3-day open houses and how you would think it would be cannibalistic, but in fact, you actually get more people and you'll get people that come through multiple times because it's open on both days and they will literally come through on both days. And he was saying a lot of times people came through without an agent because there was more opportunity to come through. And so they got a lot more, I don't want to say about a lot more, but I think he mentioned that they got statistically more buyers and more clients because of that. So the Friday would be the neighborhood exclusive open house part of it. And then Saturday and Sunday would be the public. So again, use that nearby homeowner letter, right? Get that. That's the nearby homeowner letter is the invitation to the neighborhood exclusive. And we're going to walk through, and I'll walk through with you how to edit that letter so that it becomes the invite just like what Dustin used to do or does. So here's a great little script. So this is when we're going to invite the neighbors. All right. So when we're going to invite the neighbors to the open house exclusive, one of the things that you're going to probably want to do is get a list and make a note of this. I believe I talk about this other places, but you're going to want to get a list of those neighbors, first of all. So if you're going to door knock, that's fine. So you can door knock. But if you're going to do a mail, if you can, when you get the list of the home addresses, if you can skip trace that list so that you can get phone numbers that are not on the DNC, so much for the better. Now, some of these people in your database, and you're going to be inviting people that are in your database, you've already got their phone number. That's awesome as well. But where we have the opportunity, we want to call these neighbors or the people in our database that we're inviting to the neighborhood exclusive. So this is a quick script for you here, right? Just calling them up and let them know that we're having the neighbors only open house. Want to make sure they got the invite. We're going to let them know that we're going to have some food and drinks at the open house. Don't get scared. We got a cheap way of doing this until you got more money to invest in these. Think of the neighborhood exclusive open house as a mini client event, because it really is. Because I would always invite to the neighborhood exclusive all the seller lead, especially my VIP seller leads. I would invite them to every exclusive as well. So think about these neighborhood open houses as like little tiny client events. So here, this is a script. So after we get out the invite to the neighborhood exclusive to call through, it's always good to have your voice, right? We want people to hear our voice. We want people to know that we're thinking about them, because if they know we're thinking about them, then they're going to be thinking about us a lot more often. Make sure to promote it on Nextdoor. And again, if you're holding the open house for somebody else, just ask them, right? And if it's your listing, obviously, but try to get the owner to drop it on Nextdoor as well. Especially if you're having a neighborhood preview where the owner can drop that an invitation link, right, to the single property website, letting people know that we're having a neighbor only open house on like Friday from 4 to 6, Thursday from 3 to 5, whatever it is. So here we're talking about, again, asking the seller to get that up on Nextdoor. I referenced this a little bit earlier already, but I would invite my top 50 leads, right? Whether they're my seller leads, I might invite them so they can see how I do marketing if it's my listing in particular. Even if it's not my listing, I would invite my seller leads, because when my seller leads come through my open house, they are going to know that I am the professional. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here. But I would, of course, invite my buyer leads as well. And even if it's not in their area, it might be just nice for them to see the house if it's within their price point. There might be aspects of the house that they might enjoy seeing. Might be just a quick opportunity for you to say hello to them if they're in the area. But would definitely invite my top database leads. So that would include an email. So we got the email and listings leads that you can use. We got the e-flyer for your database, but then call up, right, the top people in your database. And what a great call, right? To let them know that you're thinking about them. You're going to be doing an open house. So that's great for them to know, right? Scott's active. Scott is actually working. He's in the field. He's in the neighborhood. He's got listings, right? Whether it's mine or not, doesn't matter. But what they know is I'm the one doing the open house. So when we can call through our database, again, just a great little touch point. We're not being salesy. We're showing that we're busy professionals and that we're thinking about them and just wanted to invite them to our open house. So here's a great little script in the presentation for you on that one. And now this is the part I love. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. We know that. First impressions matter, right? That's a given. But what we want here, and this is the key, we want that shortest path to know, like, and trust. And in fact, sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't just start off with that statement right there. What is the shortest path to get someone to know, like, and trust us? And that's literally what we're talking about here. In fact, I might change the presentation to that sentence. And then what we're going to do is we are going to over deliver on everything. We're going to over deliver on the experience. We're going to over deliver on knowledge, value, and friendly professionalism. One of the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get a handout. And it's not a handout. It is a handout package for your open house. It will include the listing flyer, right? That's in the marketing tools for that listing. Yours are borrowed. You're going to use Chat GPT, and I'll give you the prompt for to create a neighborhood guide or summary. You've got an open house feedback form from listings to leads, whether you use the online or the print version. You're going to have a pen. So you'll go to the dollar store or somewhere and you'll buy a pack of like 20 pens so that you've got more than enough so nobody has to scrounge around for a pen if you're using the paper ones for sure. And you're going to have a printout of all the open houses and listings in the area. You're going to learn about the home, the neighborhood, the community, the HOA, the closest grocery store. An open house, let me tell you something. An open house is not something that you just show up at 15 minutes early and hope for the best. An open house is not something where you walk in the door, flip on the lights, wait around for 3 hours and leave. That's not an open house. An open house is literally one of the best marketing events that you can hold. I refer to listings as content. If listings are content, which is true, then open houses are client events. They're client events for the people that are not your clients yet, because we're going to make them our client when we do this. And they are client events because we're able to invite our clients to it. That makes sense? When you think of an open house, think of holding a client event for the people that are not my clients yet. They're going to be, and for the people that are, so that they can get to know me better. So again, I say that because I want you to respect the open house, and I want you to respect the idea that you're going to do some research, you're going to do some work ahead of time so that you are going to hit that open house and hit a grand slam. Like, did the guy from like the Dodgers or the Yankees hit a grand slam the other day to win the World Series game 1 or something? That's going to be you in the neighborhood. So we're going to create a welcoming atmosphere with energy. This is so powerful. Again, you watch YouTube videos, you probably see my stuff and you go, man, that could be so much better if they had some music or if they had a better atmosphere. And this is so true. When I was in college, I did a number of jobs, but in high school as well. But I was like a window display person for a department store where I did all the window displays and all that kind of stuff. And worked in retail for a long time. And I can tell you, you want to be able to attract people and using as many tools as possible. And some of this is going to sound corny. It was awesome. Even Dustin in his book, a team leader with 24 people, and he's high end. He's not low rent. Dustin is in the middle to high end market, flags and balloons, flags and balloons. We want to make sure that we are getting the attention of everybody in the neighborhood. And you can go classy, right? Classy would be like maybe tone on tone. So if you're with, like, for example, you're with CoreLogic, I'd get some blue, gray, and white balloons, right? That would look sharp. Or you can do the flag, right? You can do the big open house flag. But what we want is we want no question at all about which house is having the open house from a block away. When people are a block away from that open house, I want them to know that's it. And I want them, right? And Dustin talks about this. We have other clients that talk about this. They see that big open house flag. They see the balloons, right? Whichever it's going to be. We're coming into winter. It's going to get stormy and dark, and balloons may not be the best in this kind of weather. So maybe you get a flag, save the balloons for more of the springtime and summer, but get that out there. Like I said, I want those people when they're coming up to that open house to go, wow, what's going on here? Right? What is going on here? I want their mind to already be engaged with what we're doing before they get to the open house. When you just do the little sad sign and maybe a little tiny A-frame, it's like a secret society of something or other. That's not cool. Number 2, So that's outside the house. Music, sound. Again, you would not walk into any great retail store without music in the background, and they do it for a reason. Music is there for a reason. You can slough this off and say it's stupid, or you can say it's not worth it. It's worth it, and it's not stupid. It's worth it, and it's not stupid. Get a speaker. You can use a seller's if you're the listing agent and you want to ask the homeowner if you can use their system. Phenomenal. That would be great. Otherwise, get a Bose speaker. You can buy them used on Amazon. And in fact, in the PDF guide I showed you earlier, there's actually links to some well-priced speakers and then more kind of mid-level speakers. I know I've got a Bose. It's like a stand and round thing. It's like $220, I think it was, and it does pretty good. And you can get great speakers. You can get a good speaker for $80 to start with. Again, you don't have to go spending $1 million to do this stuff. In the beginning, just buy one flag. Find the speaker. If you need to find a cheap speaker somewhere, just go do it. Just borrow a speaker from somebody that's got one. My gosh, nowadays, pretty much everybody's got speakers, the portable ones. Scent and smell. And this, I'm telling you, this is another one. If you got the ability to have a couple of candles, maybe you bring your own, some like the bigger ones, so that they're not going to fall over and create any kind of fire danger. Obviously, we don't want to have that kind of an issue in an open house that we're doing. But if you got a nice big candle with a small flame in the middle of it, and you've got it right in kind of the living room and kitchen where you keep an eye on them, again, another beautiful way to, in addition to the music, in addition to those flags, everything that we got out front, flags or balloons, people are going to think they just walked into Tiffany's. All right. They're going to think they walked into Louis Vuitton, and they're going to start waiting to see who's going to take their order to start getting them some beautiful stuff. And that's what we want. I want people to walk in my open house and go, whoa, where am I? In a good way. Yeah, smell. Scan that QR code. Again, the QR code is going to be in the PDF. And now here we get to the good stuff. Dustin mentioned the idea about catered. So catered, there's a lot of variation in the idea of catered. So food and drinks, this is, if everything else, we're setting the stage. All right. So everything up till now has been setting the stage. And this right here is almost like the final act in that first part. So we're going to slow people down. We're going to get people to reciprocate, right? So we got all this beautiful atmosphere. They're going to feel good about themselves, right? They're going to feel good about us. And then they see the food and drink, and they just stop. And there's cheap ways of doing this. You don't need to spend a lot of money. So a lot of different options here for food and drink. So here are some ideas. The one I like the most are the mixed nuts. So you can go to, and I should have looked this up before, but you can go to something like Walmart or Costco, I think, and get like a 5-pound premium mixed nuts for like $20, I think. And then get the little cups, right? Grab the clear plexiglass, single serving size, like drinking cups that you could maybe have do double duty for the drinks and the nuts. But there's a lot of other great ideas, right? There's a ton of great ideas for food and drinks. So the drinks, I think what would be great would like be a Martinelli's apple cider. You could do water with your logo on it if you wanted to. I wouldn't turn this into a big logo branding exercise, going through a lot of trouble. Like if you've got this stuff, awesome. But don't worry about throwing your logo in a bottle of water, especially in the beginning. But so you could do like 4 or 5 bottles of Martinelli, right? Like $3 or $4 each, 20-pound or 5-pound container of mixed nuts. Walking into an open house, just imagine this. You walk into the open house, a little bit of music playing, nice smell going on. It's been aired out, so it's just great smell. All the lights are on. There's a little bit of food and drinks over there on the table next to the open house sign-in form. Yeah, I got an agent here who's got a clipboard with some information on it that they're handing to me. They got a great introduction presentation to greet me. You're just killing it. You're looking amazing already. and you really haven't even said anything yet. Without having said anything, you've already set the stage, whether it is a nearby neighbor, whether it's a seller lead from your database that popped by because you sent them an email inviting them. If it's a buyer that comes through, it doesn't matter. They are impressed. You have just already set yourself apart from every other agent by a factor of 10, maybe 20, because now when they go to the next open house or the next open house they go to, and they're just sitting there in the sounds of silence with nothing to greet them with. They got a couple of flyers sitting there on the table that they can pick up if they want to. The difference is going to be excruciatingly obvious. So third day of the open house, directional signs. Yes, the bane of directional signs. And it's so funny. I tell you, in Dustin's book, he talks about this. And I've heard from other people, oh my God, I remember doing directional signs as well as an agent. And that was probably my least favorite activity of being an agent, was setting out directional signs. I just felt like an idiot. But you know, I love what Dustin said in his book. He talks about be proud, wave, sit there and try to, setting up the signs if you want to, whatever, that's your thing. But be professional, wave to people, smile. You can either approach it in one of two ways. And the way that you should approach it, as he talks about, is you stand up straight, be proud, wave to people. Because again, I want people, when they drive by me and they see me setting up those ridiculous signs, that they go, oh, there's Scott again, right? Oh, it's a big smile from Scott, a nice wave from Scott, right? Maybe they're laughing at me on week 1, but you know what? By week 7, when I'm starting to list more properties, when I'm starting to make 5 figures a month from this area, yeah, we'll see who's going to be laughing at that point. So anyway, let's get some directional signs up. And this is so true. I know that, again, as an agent, I never did the 10 to 30 back then in the day, but you need to get them up. This is one of those things that the people that do it get it, the people that don't get it. So I'm going to recommend, go get some. If you don't have a big budget, just get 6 or 7 or 8 if you can, and then just add to it over time so that you can get up to having 10 to 30 signs. But just start with 4 if that's all you have the budget for. Don't not do things because you don't have budget. There's always a way to figure out how to do something. Prep the open house, so we're going to get there 30 minutes early. Again, our listing or borrowed. So make sure the toilet seats are down, right? Go through this list right here. This is just super basic. I would hope as a professional, I would never have to tell any of you any of this, but it's just good to keep in mind. The open house greeting and handshake. So again, introduce yourself with good handshake and eye contact. And sometimes for those of us who are parents, we realize there's that point when we realize that our kids maybe don't have the best introduction energy. Does that make sense for everybody? Like, you realize your kids they're at a certain age and they're still a little bit awkward on meeting people that they don't know, especially adults, obviously. And so you realize, oh shoot, I got to teach them a little bit, because not only will they make a better impression, they're going to be more confident and they're going to be more comfortable if they got an idea and a process for how to do this. And so same thing here. When you are just winging it all the time, you're not going to be very confident. You're not going to have good outcomes consistently. And so this is what I mean by, we try to even get to the minutia of how do you meet somebody at an open house, because it flows through everything else that we've already been doing and that we're going to do going forward. Great handshake, good eye contact. We are professionals here. We're not wasting 2 hours on a Sunday. We are professional. We are conducting an event. We are doing an event. We're not wasting time in an empty home. Don't corner them with leading questions at this point. We're trying to be comfortable, right? We're going to hand them we're going to hand them the clipboard with all the stuff on it. And we're just going to ask them, right? How are you doing? What brought you to the open house today? Nothing, no rocket science there. If they're a neighbor, if they own a home, this is a great little script right here for you, right? So if they're a neighbor, they're going to be thinking about what is the home values? What are they going to be selling for? And just have a conversation around that, right? I think this home should sell for around this X price. What do you think your home would sell for? And if they say they have no idea, just say, hey, no problem. I'd love to come down and give you a quick value estimate idea here, see what it might go for. And just ask them, right? Does 5 or 6 p.m. work for you today, tomorrow, and get something scheduled. So here we go. Give value, hand the clipboard. So remember that clipboard that we talked about earlier? The listing flyer, the chat GPT summary of the neighborhood. There's a few other things that we've got in there as well. So I hand them the clipboard, and there's a little script right here. The sellers asked me to make sure everybody signs in for security purposes, and I am sure you understand and can appreciate that. So this is that help make sure that we get people to sign in. So as part of the marketing tools, one of the tools is an open house sign-in form. There's an online version and there's a print version. So we want to make sure that everybody signs in, right? They go through the open house, and then at the end, finish preview questions. And this is just talking about just like everything else. We did the setup. We did all the stuff during the open house. Now we want to make sure that we got a great outcome. So ask them if they'd like to write an offer on the home. So that's a light thing. That's just a little bit of an icebreaker. Yeah, that may be something you feel comfortable doing or not doing. But if you don't be the first person to respond, right? As a professional, don't cannibalize your own stuff, right? So don't be that person that asks a question and then they answer it for the person who got asked the question has an opportunity. Ask if they'd like to join your VIP list. So this is if they are a buyer lead. Offer the list. So this is where you can offer that list of open houses and other listings in the area. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but when you're going to hand the open house visitor the clipboard with the information on it, don't give them the information on the other open houses or listings until after the open house and you're able to talk to them. Because it's just like a little bit of bonus value to them. See if there's another property to show them next week. So this is why you want to make sure that you understand all the open houses, all the other listings that are available in the area. And you're also going to want to know the pending and sold listings. So if you don't have it memorized, at least have it available. I'd probably print it up on a piece of paper so that you have don't try to do it on your phone necessarily, so that when the neighbors come by, you can have great conversations with them. I don't want to be sitting there having a neighbor come into my open house and I didn't have any clue that a home right down the street just sold 3 days earlier. That's not going to make you look like a professional, right? That's not the look we're going for. The look we're going for is that we can have great conversations with homeowners and home buyers related to everything in the area. So new listings that are for sale, new listings that might be coming up for sale if you know about them, pending listings, sold listings, expired listings, withdrawn listings, maybe even FSBOs. So more scripts for you that you can take a look at a little bit later. Again, this is all in your Listings to Leads account. And you know what? I tell you, the post open house is literally one of the best ways to generate even more leads. And I got a mastermind group post on that, but a great idea for doing a post open house video. And this is so good. After the open house, I got to post in the mastermind group, which I'll show you here in a minute. I think if you go to the mastermind group and type in post open house, top 7 ways to generate listings after the open house. Awesome. And I believe most of it's free. So great script right here to do a follow-up video after the open house. And this is an awesome one. I learned this from a few clients. It was so funny. I had a couple of different clients within about a month or so time period, I think a few years back, just randomly telling me they were doing this. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. But after the open house, you can use that nearby homeowner letter and do a quick update and get that to those same homes. So whether you did 100 homes before the open house with the nearby homeowner letter, and then do the same homes after. Because what is the idea of marketing? We are trying to get our message in front of our audience multiple times so that they get to know us, they get to like us, they get to trust us. We did the open house event in the area, so they got to see us. Like they got to literally physically see us. They got to see how we act. They got to see our professionalism. Online, they got to see our marketing. They hopefully, if they're a neighbor, they probably maybe have seen the nearby homeowner letter. And we are going to get more listings. And again, that's why it gets back to the idea of luxury is great. High-end listings, that's awesome. But we want to make sure that we're in areas that have good turnover, right? There's no point in doing an open house in a neighborhood where the turnover is like, and there are literally neighborhoods like that where I live, where they literally get maybe 4 to 5 sales a year. God, there's one neighborhood that we were looking to buy a home. And I remember after a couple of months, we're talking, I'm like, nothing ever comes up for sale in this area. I'm like, we got to just forget this neighborhood because literally nothing. I think maybe one home had come up within like 2 months. And then we did a little more research on it. We're like, holy crap. Like literally in the last year, it was like 3 or 4 home sales. I'm like, we're never going to find a home if this is the area that we're looking in because it'll take 7 years for enough homes to come on the market where one of them fits what we want. So anyways, yeah, it just gets back to look at your turnover. So this is talking more about the nearby homeowner letter. Yeah, this is so awesome. That post open house marketing can be a real like game changer, right? Because it's about having conversations with people. It's about having conversations with people about something relevant to them at the time that they want to take action. And we don't know when that time is. That's the problem. That's the whole problem with everything that's going on is we don't know when they're going to be looking to buy or sell. We have a lot of indications, right? There's different things that we can do. But at the end of the day, when someone is going to start actively going down that path of home buying or home selling, you will never know. No matter how many analytics and likely to sell, likely to buys there are, you just literally never know when that person is going to take that next action. And so it's our goal and our job, like what Jared James said in the earlier, it is our responsibility to increase our visibility, right? And visibility trumps ability. So you can be the best agent in the world, but if nobody knows you, nobody sees your marketing, you're not out there consistently doing it, you're going to lose the business. So with that, are there any questions on what we covered today? So we covered a number of different things, right? We talked about the marketing packs that are now available. We talked a little bit about the nearby homeowner letter in general. You can use it with a pending listing, a sold listing, but doing an open house every week, using the open house marketing and the open house mastery will get you more listings over time consistently. So with that, any other questions? Anything you got for me? Go check the email that you got for the CoreLogic Case Shiller marketing pack that is now live in your account. If you have any questions on that, let me know. I'd love to help you out with it. Make sure that you get that out to your audience and do that ASAP, because again, we got the next one coming out either later today or tomorrow morning for the pending home sale report. And that will be another great opportunity to engage home buyers and home sellers. So with that, everybody have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.